Day marker, Spaceman review, guys. Get right to it. Netflix film, action. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I am your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan 68.
I'm Angela,
and thank you so much, guys, for making this a part of your day. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk page. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Thank you so much, guys, from the bottom of our hearts. We are so close. We are literally a little bit above 300 subscribers away from hitting our 20,000 subscribers. Hopefully we get to hit this before I'm trying to hit this up before March, guys. And thank you so much again for our followers, subscribers. Thank you so much for talking movies with us, because we really do enjoy it, guys. We enjoy talking films with every single buddy out there, and we appreciate every single one that conversating about filmmaking. You know, we just got done watching Dune Part 2. And, you know, this film, first off, I do want to say thank you, Netflix. Thank you for everything. And Angela, I guess, what are we talking about today?
So this is going to be an interesting one. It's a little bit different shift than what we're used to seeing from Adam Sandler. So we are seeing Spaceman, we're reviewing today.
Yeah, Spaceman tells of a story of Netflix film of half a year into his solo mission on the edge of a solar system. An astronaut concerned with the state of his life back on Earth is helped by an ancient creature he discovers is the bowels of his ship.
Ancient creatures.
Yeah. So first off, Angela, I'm going to start off with you, because I know we know the movie making of Adam Sandler. We'll leave it at that, right? We know the movie making. We know the style that he's used to making. He's used to making those comedy styles, and that's fine. You know, everyone has their itch. Everyone has their breadwinner of what artistic stuff, their stuff that they're good at, you know, and I enjoy that. We'll talk about the Adam Sandler movies, right? We'll talk about that later in this review, but sticking to this genre and everything, the poster, I didn't see a trailer for this. I saw a poster for it. We saw the Spaceman. It was going to be very space-like, and I know you're very into the universe. You're into that space. You're into the middle of nowhere. You're into the films like Gravity. You're into Lost in Space. You're into that sci-fi-ness of just nothing. You're just floating in air, all gasping in space.
Okay, well, maybe not that, but
here we go.
I love space films because, for one, it embodies knowledge and the how you word it, the pursuit of knowledge of beyond what we know. We want to know what else is out there in space, right? In this big old universe, right? What else is out there, right? So I love space movies because literally imagination is limitless. You can go anywhere. It's an infinite possibilities, right? So I've always been fascinated with space, also because it's discovering other existential questions like who we are, where we come from, what are our purpose, blah blah blah. But it's just so fascinating and it's so cool. It's just really cool. So I love all the space movies. I was super on board with this. And I wasn't sure how it was gonna be, given Adam Sandler was the main lead, right? I know he's usually done, like you say, he's known for his comedies, especially those 90s cult classics. He's done awesome comedy, but this had a more serious tone. We got that right off the bat. This was not going to be a comedy, and I liked it that way, and it kind of gives us another layer. I know we've seen this from him before. We saw that great performance from Uncut Gems he did a couple years ago. Fantastic. And that was a high adrenaline movie. This one was different also. It's very serious, but it's very calm, very inward looking, deep reflection on life and choices and feelings, and it's really cool. I really liked it. Now the way it's kind of the stories presented, this ancient creature, right, which aka it's a spider, not spoiler,
creature,
giant spider, that he befriends on his ship. That's an interesting concept. But I will say I liked it, though. I loved the conversations they had. It was Paul Dano who voiced the spider. It's so great. I love Paul Dano and anything he does. Same thing with Adam Sandler. I love Adam Sandler and everything.
Yeah.
But the chemistry between them was so cool to see, even though it's an animated stare. Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
It's such a wild. It's so crazy just to talk about it, but it actually was very pleasantly surprising. I really, really liked the themes and the takeaway message, and I thought it was, for a random space film from Netflix, it actually was pretty good.
I agree. And then at the same time, this film is a reflection on your consciousness, and it's so good because it's so witty. And Adam Sandler, I didn't expect to see this. I wish I would have saw this at the theater. We actually did not see this at the theater. We saw it at a home screener and everything. And it's movies like this that are just an experience of itself, an experience to where whether you're feeling miserable, sad, angry, depressed in the beginning of this film, and then it turns the tables on just the experience of it, and it makes you feel a different certain way at the end of this movie, knowing that this film had an experience on you. And I love that. I love that when movies do that. I love that when cinema just captivates you. And I feel like with this, I gotta admit though, being a Netflix film, this movie the CGI was not bad.
Yeah,
like, dude, holy moly, the CGI was not bad.
Pretty much, except for the set of the spaceship. It's pretty much all CGI.
Yeah, exactly. And the space in here, the overly whelming black hole of the abyss of space. I'm just kidding. Of space. And
it was like a nebulous star.
Yeah,
he was exploring.
It looked so cool. I mean, everything looked astounding. Everything looked fantastic. Even the CGI on the spider. So at first, the spider is creepy. It is the creature, whatever you want to call it. It's the spider. It was very, very creepy. It was very scary. I thought it was gonna be
spider.
And then you hear Paul Dano's voice, and it's so soothing. It's a reflection. What it is, it's an astronaut that really goes. Excuse me, because my voice is going out, but. It's an astronaut that really goes not insane, but more of a reflection. Because he's on a solo mission from Earth for about a year.
Well, no, it's been 6 months.
Yeah,
and then he's reaching his target.
Now he's at 6 months,
and then now he has to do another 6 months back.
Yeah, and so I felt like that he's at a turning point to where a reflection. He has a life reflection, a life. Not a crisis. I don't want to call it a crisis because I feel like it's more of a I guess a little bit, but it's more of an inner workings of his brain mentality saying. You fix your life before it's too late, and I love that because in this sequence here, it's a definitely different, metaphorically speaking, definitely a different inner voice, in my inner consciousness telling me I need to change my life. You need to change your life. I just felt like that with this experience of this film. Adam Sandler did a fantastic job in here. He did a drama, and I gotta admit though, I have to admit. Before we saw Uncut Gems, I remember, Angela, because we went to go see this in the theater. It was all critics only, and we literally were just like, okay, let's just get this. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's get this movie over with. We don't know what to expect, whatever. I probably saw a trailer and I was like, okay, it's Adam Sandler, but he does come in with the win on this one. He came in with a huge win on Uncut Gems. Surprised the hell out of me on Uncut Gems.
It's funny because in the past few years, he's done a few films
with Netflix
that have been serious.
That project,
But also, it was Uncut Gems, and then also I think there was that basketball movie where he was, I think, the coach.
See, that's another great one. That's another good one.
So it's not just serious, but different aspects of serious. It was the adrenaline of Uncut Gems. It was the inspirational sports movie of that basketball movie. The name escapes me. And then this one, it's Hustle. A space movie. Yes, Hustle.
Yes, that
and
was a good
this one, it's a space movie. It's just, you see so I already knew Adam Sandler was a comedic genius, right? He's done so many movies that you could just list off Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, a whole bunch of stuff. But to see him especially excel in these, like, he still got it, right? I think I love seeing him in a lot of these films. He's not just, he can just do comedy. Yeah, that's what he does. No, he does so much other stuff, and I like that. Again, I will assert that him and his chemistry with Joel Dano is pretty cool.
here's the dilemma that he's really in, and I feel like, I mean, take it whatever you want, guys. This is what the critics, this is what everyone's saying, is that when he just signed on to do this career move with Netflix, it's about 340 something million, I believe. It was around that ballpark range. It's a lot of money, and that just goes to him, just him, not his production team, that's strictly to him, and then not counting if it does go to box office, not counting any of that, right? And this also did have a theoretical cut, so it did show in theaters and all that. So yeah, we'll leave it like that. And so, you know, he's in a point of his career to where, like, critics are not really liking the movies that he is doing with Netflix. And I gotta admit though, I am one of them, because the fact is that they're not great. They are just they're not good. And again, not all of them. Yeah, not all of them. But here's the thing: when you get more losses than wins, you kind of been like, I don't know. But I'm not going to say I wasn't on board for this movie, because it was definitely, I read the synopsis and I was definitely interested at the fact that, yes, there is something different. This is a space movie. This is more, it looked more dramatic. The poster itself gives it a powerful message of its own right. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. But I got to admit though, there's critics in there. And again, I'm not one of them, but I'm just telling you, there's critics who are like, oh, it's a Netflix movie. Adam Sandler, down. But at the same time though, I'm kind of like, I don't blame him, because it's like he's just cashed in on the money.
It was pretty surprising. It was deep. And I will say this, it's not going to be for everyone, but it's a very sad film, and I love sad films.
Yeah, no,
I love sad films, and this will not be for everyone. I will say that right off the bat. I do think that it might, since there's not a lot of action here.
There's no action.
Yeah, there's no action.
Really?
Well, I mean, no. But it might not be everyone's cup of tea. They might get a little, like, I want to say bored, but it's definitely, you have to just, it talks about deep themes and feelings and stuff. If that's not your niche, totally fine. Yeah. You might not like this film, but again, I think if you do like, you want to see something different from Adam Sandler, if you love space movies or just sci-fi in general, I think you might give it a try. It's actually a pretty cool concept, to be honest.
Yeah, no, yeah, and again, it goes back to where, like, the inner consciousness, and it goes very deep. It's very emotional on his life, what he's done since a childhood. It's a lot of reflection of life or near-death experiences, and I love that, because it's almost to where a sense to where, like, I kind of wish, in a weird, obscured way, that I kind of wish that we get to almost like the Iron Man thing. Remember Iron Man? It was Avengers Age of Ultron, when Robert Downey Jr. puts on that memory thing, and he can rewatch an old memory that he did years ago. So that's something very interesting.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted. I think I had heard somewhere like Samsung or something like that. Some big tech company was developing essentially like contact lenses you could wear that record your memories, and you can play them back. There's also one thing that you can do that I've seen is very popular on TikTok, where you can scan a QR code on a tombstone and you can upload memories there too. Oh, wow. So people who are visiting your grave can scan the QR code and just kind of look at your life. It's really cool. Okay. So you have all these advancements in technology. It's great. But circling back to this, it is very deep meanings, but I still recommend people check it out. I think it's going to be, it might surprise a lot of people, honestly. I think, like, again, Adam Sandler is known for mostly his comedies, especially the 90s, 2000s comedies.
Well, here's the thing. I'm very surprised, because right now it is officially not rotten. It's actually it's rated 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm very pleasantly surprised. Audience score right now is 92%, and I agree too. I do. We'll talk about ratings in just here in a second. I gotta admit though, I have to recognize Adam Sandler's not my favorite actor when it comes to comedy and everything. He's not, but at the same time though, he's made this creative, quirky, humor, family humor that I just love and adore.
I
and
don't think I would not say family.
Okay.
Billy Madison.
No. I'm not talking about those movies. What I'm talking about is Grown Ups. You know, a film that's very like just not. It's not one of those films to where like it's not going to be Oscar performance. It's not going to be nothing like that, right? But at the same time, they are such a guilty pleasure. Every time Grown Ups is on TV, I like to watch it. Grown Ups 1 or 2. It's so great.
Because the cast is great.
Yeah, I know. But see, that at the same thing too. It's like, hey, you know this guy. You know this guy. You know, it's all.
I pronounce you Chuck and Larry. That's also another great one too.
Oh man, that's a fantastic movie. Yes.
He is known to be such a great producer of
I
films.
love that movie. That movie's great.
It's great. And it's to say a lot of the people are his like lifelong friends. Love it, right? They occur in all of his movies.
And that's the thing too, is that Billy Madison, Big Daddy, I mean, okay, if you were to if you were to set in stone right now the 90s film for Adam Sandler, if you were to pick a 90s film or early 2000s, we'll leave it early 2000s too, what would you say would be the best Adam Sandler movie can you think of right now? Like,
more iconic to me that comes to mind is Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, you're right. It's because you're a golfer.
It's a quotable movie. I love that movie. I mean, all of his movies are quotable, but I love Happy Gilmore because it's just so funny.
No, I mean, hey, you know, the one thing, and I'm kind of like, I'm thinking about it again. I'm just like, you know what? It's got to be Big Daddy, just because I saw it at a very young age, and it's just funny because he overreacts because McDonald's is breakfast time is you know, it changes or something. I just adore that. I adore that movie. But we're circling back to this. He's come a long way when it comes to acting. I'm not saying he's not a great actor. He's a great actor. He is great. And Uncut Gems proved how of a caliber degree that he can act that I never thought he could before in my entire life.
I mean, it was just because we were used to seeing him in a certain genre and he was branching out. If he's done it before, that's great. I personally hadn't seen it. Yeah. But that was, like you say, a testament to that he can act. Again, that Hustle movie that came out, the sports movie, that was great. And then this one's also great too. So I can't wait to see what else he has to offer with Netflix or without Netflix. You know, I would still like to see. I love him. I think he's great. He's also a really nice person that I've heard. So I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, Mr. Sandler. Yeah, no, definitely. And then, I mean, it's not to say, I mean, I guess you could say Click was kind of a little bit of a comedy series, maybe a little bit. It's comedy. Yeah, well, it was more like, I mean, it was comedy. It had like themes of like. But it also had dramatic, a little bit dramatic moments too. Yeah. It was a little bit, not depressing, but it got a little emotional too. Well, yeah, because it's like he misses his whole life. And, you know. Because of work. He gets addicted to work. But anyways, we'll leave it at that, guys. But let's reflect back to this rating. What do you give this rating, Angela? Paul Dano. I know, Paul Dano. Oh, man. His voice is he's soothing, right? And it's funny. But he's like a terrifying large spider. I actually thought the spider, I don't know, for some reason, the poster and everything, the way it was, the shots that Netflix took photos of, I feel like the spider was more scarier in the photos than it was in the movie. If that makes any sense. Sure, I could see that, because I mean, again, I'm not, just still images, but I'm not a fond of spiders by any means, but you kind of like quickly kind of like, oh, he's, you know, friendly. He's a nice ancient creature. But anyways, I will give it a good solid 7.5 because for a Netflix film, like I said, I know they kind of have hit and misses with Netflix films. But I really enjoyed it. It's a really cool concept. CGI was on point. I think Adam Sandler did great. He was the lead. Definitely. He carried the whole movie. We used to also see some familiar faces as well. Shout out to Raj Kuther probably. I didn't even recognize him. You recognized him like first thing 5 seconds in. I was like, what the hell? I said, damn. But yeah, so I will say I think it's a good solid 7.5 for me, just because everything, it was pretty well rounded, pleasantly surprised, and I would see it again. I agree with the audience score. I think it's doing pretty well. So what would you rate it? So I'm going to have to give it the same rating. I'm going to give it a 7.5 as well. This was very enjoyable. I enjoyed so many reflective moments in here, and almost it makes you want to think and critically think about your life, where your life is going, and stuff like that. You don't want to miss a second of it. And it felt like, you know,
Adam Sandler's character was just running away from everything. And I just at the same time, though, I understand it. You kind of want to understand it, and I feel like even more so that it's going to be very relatable to certain individuals who just run away from their not problems, but just run away from conflict, run away from stuff like that. And we all have our own journeys. I'll say that we all have our own journeys. We all have our own struggles at life, and I feel like that this is a very montage to that. And I feel like it's really going to reflect on individuals who have gone through that. That's why I feel like it's going to be very relatable to moviegoers. But again, though, I do want to say this is a different type of film to where it's no action, not Fast and Furious. So if you are going in like, I want to see some action, I want to see some some blow up explosions, like no, you're not going to get that, guys. This isn't your type of film. The type of film you're requiring to see, go see something else. But I still have to recommend this. This is definitely a film I do recommend to moviegoers out there who are just even if you are like coming from that type of past film history of like Transformers, The Beekeeper, and all that. I would still recommend this because everyone knows Adam Sandler. Everyone knows him. He's a name brand. And so I kind of feel like that, hey, if you like Adam Sandler, you need to watch this movie because you're going to be like, oh my God, I never thought he could act like that. Like, I feel like I will, I mean,
because he's put out like a ton of movies over like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, he's had a really long spanning career.
Yeah. Before finishing up this review, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to recognize was the composer in here. Oh my God. The music was phenomenal. Max Richter, he was phenomenal. The composer in this movie. There was a lot of tone moments in here that are really strategic on the music because there's no action. It reflects more on there's this scene that's happening and it's a reflection of his life. The composure is just so great. The composer is so great. And I really did enjoy that. I want to emphasize and just commend this fine person who put this together. And I felt the sadness, I felt the emotional reflection, I felt tragedy when it happened. It's great. I mean, I don't say tragedy is great, but I'm just saying having those experiences through filmmaking, have those experiences reflect from screen to audience, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I do recommend this movie, guys. Obviously, Alamo City Movie Talk, we do recommend this film. And actually, I do want to recognize as well was the director of this film, who actually directed Chernobyl, which we saw that. I was like, oh, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so I do want to recognize that as well. Johan Rennick. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that totally wrong, guys, but Johan, he actually directed this film, the same director of Chernobyl, which is a series we both did love, a limited series that was on Max, on HBO Max at the time.
Yes, HBO.
Yeah, or HBO Go, HBO Now, and HBO Max. No, it's Max.
I can't believe it's been like that.
I know, right? Crazy. All right, guys, thank you so much for making this a part of your day. Questions for you guys: did you enjoy our take? Did you enjoy our discussion? And whether you are listening to us on a podcast platform or watching us on our YouTube channel, we really do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to us, give us a thumbs up on our review, guys. Thank you so much, and stay on this journey. Be on this journey with us where we talk about movies, because we want to hear your comments and we want to hear the debates. We want to talk about films, and we always enjoy talking to every single one of you guys. So be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and X. Not Twitter, X. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that cat lady. And
this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Stay soon. See you at the theater.